I want to say his son's even bigger, even taller. He's very tall. I didn't want to stand. I didn't like standing next to him. I don't stand next to tall people for pictures. I just refuse to do it.
Yeah, but you're gonna need to sit.
I always wanted to tell Filthy to take a fucking knee. He's like 6'3.5" or something over there.
Yeah, there are a lot of pictures of me out there on my tippy toes, but you can't tell.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's one of my favorite stories to retell. So I'll just do it again. Like we were in Texas doing some helicopter hog shooting, and I was with my buddy Dino, who's like this ex-Marine Corps guy, fucking 6'4", like a legitimate 6'4", and then he throws the boots on, and he's almost 6'5" or so, big muscled up dude, probably 235, 245 pounds. And we were all getting a group picture because we were all there doing this helicopter hog hunting shit, and everybody wanted a group picture, so we did it. And I'm behind Dino, and I was either standing on some wooden blocks or on top of a trailer, like a car trailer. But I got myself a good like foot, maybe more of extra height, and I'm towering over Dino, and I make my shoulders good and wide, and I'm standing behind Dino, and Dino puts it on his Facebook, not noticing, and everybody's like, "God damn, how big's that Russian fella? Looks about 7'2". Yeah, God damn, Dino. And
look at
Dino's
the
like,
legs.
No.
That fella must be outrageous because it's still your.
He makes you look like a bitch, Dino. And he's like, "No, I'm bigger than him. I'm a lot bigger than him." And I jump in the comment like, "This is bullshit, comrade. He's lying to you. He's little bitch, man." Just fucking with him in the comments. He's like, "You goddamn asshole. You're not bigger than me." Like it's like he was so proud of being like, he's the biggest guy in almost every single room he ever walks into. I think he's got that Harley syndrome where he walks on the plane and he's like, "Yeah, I'm the biggest." Yep.
I don't feel like that's Harley's mindset. He could do that.
That's what he said.
Oh, my bad.
Harley literally like walks into every room and every situation. He's like, "All right, we're good. I'm the biggest. I'm the biggest."
Every once in a while, some like 6'10" guy walks in the same grocery aisle. He's like, "Fuck, I'll put produce off for him."
We have to do battle.
I can take it though. He's old.
It's funny too. Like my brother's a real big guy. My brother's like 6'5" or something like that, and he did a lot of lifting in high school and whatnot. So he was and played rugby, this kind of thing, right? And he said he says he gets it kind of online a little bit because he gets the opposite. He's like, in person, no one gives him any shit. Like in person, everyone is always very respectful and very polite. And then he says he gets the contrast when he games, and he gets like the kids like fucking like shouting in games or being like shits or this type of stuff. And he's like, I'd never say that in fucking person. No one ever says it like that in person. But it was interesting to hear that perspective from him. I'm not a tall guy, but I'm not a big guy. Like I'm a kind of I'm a kind of slender guy, right? I'm 6'2", but like hearing from his perspective of what it was like walking around as a 6'5" pretty ripped guy was kind of interesting.
I almost wonder if he has that like hot chick syndrome where he doesn't need to like a hot chick we've all figured out maybe doesn't need to develop a great personality or sense of comedy because people are going to like her anyway. They're going to
laugh at those jokes whether they're funny or not.
She can be the dullest person in the room and everyone wants to hear what she has to say, right? Maybe your brother is not equipped to deal with disrespect because he hasn't gotten it in person his whole life.
Maybe, possibly. That's an interesting take on that. It's interesting too because you don't. It's never acknowledged in life. You're never told like, yeah, and even a day-to-day activity, you will, as a man particularly, notice the size of the other men around you and their, like the interaction of that and how it actually impacts on a day-to-day basis, kind of like humility and just basic conversation to some degree is kind of interesting. Not like it's on everyone's mind all the time, but you're aware, as you guys said, you're aware when a big guy walks in the fucking room and he's like 6'8" or something, you're like, that's a big fucking guy.
You're also aware of the opposite, where like you'll be at a grocery store or something and you see a guy who's like not a midget, but he's like 5'1" or something. And it's like, dude, that guy is fighting an uphill battle every room he walks into. Like that, he probably prefers the online,
He's a big shit talker online.
Bullying them in person.
And it's not just like physical intimidation. I think if you're 6'3" and you're working at some big company, you might just slide into management slots a little more easily. People see you in leadership positions when you've got some extra height.
Yeah, pretty much all the presidents are tall.
Mm-hmm.
Our politicians, like good. I think like good salespeople tend to be taller. Like there is something to that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And I can't think of a short president.
But
You
I
have to
can think
go
of a
back-
lot of short actors.
Yes, but that's they're. It's
Roosevelt.
a trick though. Like I think if you're like
Oh,
a,
you're like 4'6".
in the chair. I think if you're a tall girl, that you might have a hard time getting cast, right? Because you're going to tower compared to Tom Cruise comes to mind.
You know that